So if I bought at this low and it did a little bounce, right? And then it dropped into into that low where I bought. Now I'm negative. And David was like, okay, at this point it's negative. I'm gonna buy. It's negative, but I'm excited. Why would that be a thing?
I mean,
So you could reposition.
Because
No,
what?
there's inventory
You could
downstairs.
buy more positions.
Yeah, it's just he's getting a better price. Look, if you guys look at this as a price point thing, he bought here, and now the market is saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to offer you a better price."
facts.
So that's one. Two, I'm going to offer you inventory to purchase. Three, it actually just might be a better time of day or day of week, actually. Because I mean, in my case, I was in drawdown because I got into like these monthly, these very big moves. But I was in drawdown because I was in early on a very large move, but I was okay with it. I was adding more positions as it went deeper into my price point. And that's just like in life, you know, when you go to the store, when that thing that you want to buy meets your price point, you buy it. And that's kind of what I'm doing digitally here, but it has to make sense. It not only has to be a good price point, but it has to be something there to buy. Let's see, and not only that, it actually has to have a reason to go in that direction you intend for it to go to. So yeah, it just presents more opportunity, better pricing for more opportunity. But if you're over leveraged, then you're definitely going to be cringing. You're not going to be excited for stuff like that.
Disclaimer, disclaimer.
Just saying. You're going to want to you're going to want to break that thing up real good. Just saying. Oh, wow. You know that thing, what happens when your phone refreshes and everything just goes boom? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making.
Facts.
All right, let me get into what we were going over. Oh, wow, look at this week. Something to nothing, the foundations, time driven, time and price enhanced, time and price ranges, RDA, theory overview, theory for buyers part ones and two, and intro to IP. Do you guys have any questions on all these things? Have you guys learned any of these things before?
Before now.
Or absolutely not.
But did you guys notice how you guys have always had access to all of the stuff that was covered here?
Mhm.
You guys notice that?
Yes, sir.
Everybody has access to all this information. It's completely freely given. Data is freely given. It's just how you process it. Do you accept it or not? So yeah, remember there's these principles. I have mechanics, I have the theory, and I have the install. When you put the mechanics and the theory together, they create what I call HPEs. Pop quiz, what's a HPE?
High
Probability
probability element.
And what is a element to high probability? Like what's the point of that? Somebody different.
To position yourself at a better pricing.
Okay, so for better positioning, what else? Somebody.
To give you the highest probability of winning the trade.
Okay, so a higher probability of an outcome happening over another, better positioning. What else?
To be more efficient at trading.
And what creates efficiency? How do I get better? How do I get more efficient at trading?
Quality.
Okay,
Better timing and better pricing.
there we go. So timing and positioning. Timing and positioning is going to create efficient trading. What is efficient trading?
Oh, efficient trading would be getting a desired outcome consistently.
But what makes
efficient trading would also be
that David, I think that describes effective trading. What describes efficient trading?
When you get a fast outcome, a relative fast outcome.
Okay, so something relative fast that has to do with speed, that has to do with time. Okay, you're close. It's a mix between David's and Mikey's. You put those together, that's the answer.
I was also going to say if you can maximize the situation at the given moment,
Okay,
because
timing and
that
positioning, maximizing the situation. So like what, maximizing on the move?
I would say,
yes,
taking advantage of larger moves consistently over, just over time.
But what makes it efficient? Again, that's effective.
Positioning yourself
what makes it
at the
efficient
right
if you could
time.
if you could take care of both sides, if you could be on both sides of the market.
You have to be on both sides. To enter, you have to be on one side. To exit, you got to be on the other end. So what makes it
True.
actually efficient? I'm gonna make y'all figure it out, man. I'm trying here.
Golly.
So let's start with what does efficient mean?
That's a good start. What does it mean? What's that say?
Minimum, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Acting or producing effectively with a minimum of waste, expense, or unnecessary effort. So
So
it's
what are things you
positioning
can? What are
yourself at
things?
the right time.
What are things you can waste on the screens?
Oh, your time.
Time,
Your
bro.
own
Time.
understanding.
Your money and your time. So effectively, you're effectively consistently getting a desired outcome. That's good. You're being very effective. But to be efficient is you're doing that while spending very little time doing that. That's where you're efficient. You're wasting very little time and you're spending very little time exposed in the markets. You get in, the market moves, you get out. That's efficient trading.
Yeah, so I kind of hit it on the head. You don't think?
Say it again.
I kind of hit it on the head before. You don't think?
Right, but say it again so I could hear it again. What did you say before?
Golly, it just went on my mind. Never mind.
So maybe you didn't. I don't know.
It was right on
Now
my
you probably
mind.
did though. We'll catch you in the recording, bro. It's no big deal. I just want everybody to think though. So like it's more like if I started with you, then I'm probably I usually like move on and like try to pick on other people. Because you awake and I'm trying to wake everybody else up. Trying to share your energy with people. So yeah, when you don't sit there wasting your time, you're being efficient. So there's a time aspect to trading that I really want to maximize on. A lot of people want to maximize on their profit point, but actually, if you maximize on the timing factor, your profit points are going to be with it. Why would that? Why would what I say be kind of a fact?
Because if you learn what times, it goes back to what I was saying about the job when you clock in. It's like if you know when to clock in, the profits are kind of just a byproduct because you know when to get there and when to get out.
Okay, so what time does this thing say over here?
8:30.
And for what currency?
USD.
What kind of impact?
High.
Okay, yes. I don't know how to read any of this stuff. I'm not that smart. But I don't care. I know how to read charts though. So I know how to read impact. I'm good at colors. I still can read colors. That's red, I think. Okay, good. That's currency and that's time. I could deal with that. Time is really what I care about. Impact is what I care about. Currency is telling me, what to look at.
What to look at, right?
I wonder what happened at 8:30 this morning. What did we see when we just popped into class? 8:30. Let me go to 30-minute chart.
Boing.
Huge candle. What time?
8:30.
8:30.
At 8:30, at the start of that, we have a huge spike from the lowest point of that 8:30 candle to the highest point. It produced 44.8 pips. That's not normal.
Heck no.
To happen that fast, that's not normal. It actually happened within 15 minutes. Look, we just started a new 15-minute candle. That happened within 15 minutes. That's not normal. So why would it just do that at 8:30? It's time sensitive. It's time driven. These things are driven by time. And it's cool because it looks like it's driven by this news data. But I just told you I don't know how to read this. But I knew when the move was going to drive. So what actually drove it?
Time.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what all this stuff is. It's but the time release definitely seemed like it put the gas in the car, or it drove it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need to be so fancy dancy smart and know these numbers and stuff. You could though, it might help. I don't know. It's probably really good. You should learn about your economy. But I'm just saying it's not totally required because it's all factored into the pricing. That's why
It's already factored in.
yeah. So like in a sense, I already knew where all these numbers were headed because I've already seen the markets like produce something overall, and I already know where it's more likely to go. I'm just looking for now the timing of it, and that's what this provides. It literally presents to you the timing to look for volume to come into the market. So if I go to Forex Factory in the mornings, I could just open it up and just see when, like I could plan out my week. Look, next week, 9th through 15th, apply settings. Look at that. That's Sunday through Saturday next week. I already have in my filters, I filtered out the currencies I look at. Yep. Yeah, I don't look at low impact news. I look at things that move, apply the filter, and there I go. Looks like Tuesday next week. I'm going to be on NZD at the evening session. Because there's not much going on. It looks like for USD early on next week. It looks like it's going to be more so in the middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday. So that's how I plan. Then I take that data, the timings of this. See, I'm looking at day of week and time of day, and I'm going to go to a chart, and I'm going to put my weekly time frames and my times of days, and I can literally already set all these things up before the market gets there. But I'm not trying to confuse anybody. I'm not trying to go on the Forex Factory and say you got to look at news. This is just a good tool. It's a tool to show you clocks, times of impactful data that drives the market. And it's not really necessarily the data, but the data is an excuse to move the market at these times. It's about the time. You really want to focus in on the time. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So with this last again, this webinar for the week, I'm really trying to do kind of like an overview, kind of review type of thing. So what I was just getting into was time driven. That's the concept of time driven. The markets are very, very, very sensitive to times. That's why I say set your time frames. Remember, you go to, if you want to study day-to-day operations of a market, you pick your market. You go to the timing that you want to study. So I want to study a daily time frame. So I go to the daily chart. I grab my vertical line. I drop it on the day I want to study. Say I want to study today. You hit on top of the candle and right beside the candle. You only see one candle inside of this frame because I'm on the daily chart. But as I move into the frame, we'll get into this next week. It's going to enhance that daily candle. It's going to open it up and show me all the information that's inside of it. So now I'm on the hour chart. The lines here, the time borders, they give me a sense of timing. So this is a daily time frame, but I'm seeing it on the hour chart at this point. So when you go into your when you go to study the markets, set your time up. Okay, look at your frame, drop into it. And what you want to do is you want to point out key moments in pricing. Like when did the market get really big? What is the turning points within that frame? What time did those occur? And that's how you want to study that. What times did the push happen? What time did it slow down? What time was it tight? What time was the low of the day? What time was the high of day? On average, when do these things happen? Across 100 days, of this one currency pair, on average, what was the time window of the high and low of the day being produced? You guys ever studied like that?
I have been so far.
Very good.
Since I'm in this class.
Very good. And you want to keep on doing that. Trust me, because that's the true information. Look, if you draw data off of the screen and you learn a time window to attack AUD USD, for example, wouldn't that be more advantageous than learning about a W with no context?
Facts.
Because the timing, at least you have precise windows. You actually can ignore like 80% of all the data throughout the day because you focused on the 20% that actually produce powerful movement. You've made yourself 80% more accurate, just like that, just because you drew on data instead of gimmicks. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Data is powerful, guys. Data is very powerful. In fact, how do you think all these multi-billion-dollar corporations are making that much money constantly, consistently, without fail? How do you think they do that?
Objectively using data.
They collect data on us. They know how we think. They know what we like. They know how we like it. They know when we like it. They have seasonal sales, man. Don't you think they play on that? They could put out balloons that are the shape of heart. They put out pink stuff around February because they know you're gonna get some bozo who's gonna buy a $50 rose that day because it's a holiday. You see what I'm saying? And then the very next day, the day after, they're gonna dump everything off because now the emotional high wore off. They know how we think. We forget very quick. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's data. That's all I'm trying to get at. Data is very powerful. Bro, these computers, these phones, they're constantly collecting data. You know that whatever you're swiping on, scrolling on, clicking on, liking, spending time on, they're compiling all your data and telling corporations, what you like, what you spend time on, so that they know what to push to your phones.
Yeah.
It's very basic. All they do is they see what you like and they give you what you like. I don't know how we got to that. Sorry, guys, but that's just that's a powerful point. Either
Collect
way.
data.
There we go. Data is very powerful. Thanks. Good save. Good save. I could watch somebody for months and collect data on them. People say that's stalking. It kind of is, but it's for different different purposes. For example, if I'm like managing personnel, I'm gonna watch and collect data on people so that I know how they operate. I'm gonna stress test them. I'm gonna talk to them a certain way just to see if they fold up and cry or something. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's data. Data feed gives me information so that when I go into a certain situation, I have an edge over something because of the data I have. That's the whole premise of week 1. Where's your data at? Show me data. Give me data. Data, data, data.
How can a boxer or a martial artist collect data?
Well, I collect. First of all, I'm no like martial artist. I just do combat. I use my body in whatever capacity it's able to move in. So like if I throw an elbow and I get a little soreness on my shoulder or I get hurt or something, that's feedback. You see what I'm saying? So like I have to work on my technique, my form, my muscle, my strength, my something. I have to go softer. I have to have more of a plush object, something like that. That's feedback that I will use for a correction, and then maybe create training around that feedback. So if I notice I suck at buying markets, but I'm really good at selling markets, maybe I go practice buying, That's what I go, that the data suggests that I'm weak at something, so I'll go strengthen it. You do that in life. If you keep trying something and it's not working, you're going to have to try something else. That's just a very basic principle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so something to nothing. I'm all over the place. I'm kind of just reviewing parts of this week. So something to nothing. I'm trying to take whatever you brought into this. I'm trying to introduce you to what's already there. So you could bring whatever you want to the game. I'm just going to kind of suggest that you leave it at the door for now. See if you want it when you go out the building. See if you want it to pick it back up. Because I guarantee once you leave this place, you're not going to want to pick that stuff up. It has nothing to do with how the charts work. The foundations is pretty much, I'm getting to the core, like the essence of what makes data data. The time and price, the boundaries, the things that contain it, right? Time driven is like the things that influence it. This is what contains it. This is what influences it. Time, when it enters a certain time, it becomes more active. When it enters a certain time, it becomes inactive. so forth and so on. When it enters a certain time, it creates this point. When it hits this time range, it hits another point. X and Y enhanced, I'm going really into the X and Y axes and how they worked individually and how they work together. So I also like to show you guys how I isolate my concepts and put them together. That way they're cohesive. All right. Time ranges and price ranges. That's to show you the true borders and true boundaries. The range, that's a high and a low. That's a range of prices. The open to close, that's a range of time. With a range of time and a range of price, you can now create a candlestick, and it occupies a range of time and a range of price on your X and Y axes. RDA, raw data analytics, that's something you can implement to data. There's raw data as it is, unprocessed, untouched. It's just producing itself. That's what raw data is. Analytics is what you do with it. You analyze it. You take it apart. You isolate it. You put it back together. You break it into components. You study those components. You put those components together to see the whole piece. And that's what I did with the markets. I literally took every single piece apart, studied it, put it back together, packaged it together in a sequence, and now I'm sharing it with you guys. That's how I like to analyze things. Okay, running out of time, good, but I'm right on time, so that's good. So all of these comprise kind of like the beginning parts of the mechanics. There's more to the mechanics, when we get next week into fractility, bar resolution, and all that good stuff. We're going to get deeper into mechanics, but that's pretty much the basis of what raw data analytics is and how you can acquire data from something pure. Market theory is pretty much the why behind why does data look the way it does? Why does data print the way it does? Why does it print where it prints when it does? The why. That's what theory is. It's like when you look at this image, you're dealing with the mechanics, the what is it? How is it? But when you're dealing with the theory, you're going with the why. Like why does it look like this right now? Why is it like a whipsaw? It's very basic. It really is. Like it's not random. If you look at the bodies of the candle, this high to this low, in just this period of time where that news release came out right here, look what happened. It hit out both sides of the market, the high and the low. It took out the top part, sold it, ran out the bottom. And now it reacted off the bottom. It went back towards the middle. This is called a whipsaw. It whips out every side of the market, both sides of the market in one smooth little shot. The whole market stays tense, and then in one shot, it just takes both sides out. That's a whipsaw. And that happened because the markets are time sensitive. As time progressed within this daily time frame, it ran into 8:30, and it produced rapid movement, and it referenced those orders around the area. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So the market theory, again, was going over, so yeah, it's the why behind this picture. This is the mechanics. It entered a certain time. And then the why would be, it ran up here because that's where the what's up here, buy stops are located. So it ran up to sell to the buy stops, and then it reacted, ran out, and now it's going to dump them below the lows. What's in that extreme is going to be sell stops. So if I'm in a sell and I need to get out of a sell, I need to buy it back. I'll buy it back from a sell position, which is located below a low. And that's why you see the market, it'll make boxes like this, and then take out both sides. And it's for that reason. And we'll get into all of this again like later too. It's this is the price flows. We'll study all of that. So in here with the market price trapped in one area, spending time in one area, what that does is it's creating volume in the area. Not only within that, there is active trading volume within this box, but there's inactive trading volume beyond the boxes. And this is the main part of market theory, is that in these extreme environments, there's going to be pending orders waiting to be filled and waiting to be transacted with. These are the areas the market runs to It's the extreme environments. The market runs to where there's orders. The purpose of the market is to facilitate trade. So if it's in an area, it's either because it's filling orders or creating volume to take in a couple minutes, a couple hours, whatever the case may be. But that's all the market does, is it creates money and it takes money. And if you learn the money game, you're going to learn how to read that. Oh, right now the market's creating money. Or, oh, right now there's no trade. The market needs time to create money, and then I'll check tomorrow. Those are all the thoughts you'll experience when you actually understand what you're reading into. All right. Sorry for all the talking, guys. Keep bearing with me. I only got a couple minutes left. Here we go.
No, it's needed.
To be honest.
Whew. So the theory we emphasize mostly on the buy side, right? And we'll get into the sell side maybe even later today. I kind of just want to make sure I do this overview, get my tracks covered. I want to make sure everything it's just thorough. I want to make sure that you guys got a solid foundation, because with the solid foundation, now we can start stacking up concepts. So with the buyers, we're thinking about the buyer's mentality. I want you to put yourself in a buyer's shoes, in a buyer's position. Put your buyer hat on. When you buy something, think about it. What does a buyer desire? Like, what is the outcome they desire? Now, is that the same desire or outcome that all buyers desire? See, now you're getting into mass psychology. I don't know of a single buyer that wants to buy and watch the market go down. I'm okay with it going down because I'll get more opportunity. But I'm just saying, when I buy, I really just want it to go up. That's just me. Like, I just want to make money when I buy. What about you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when I buy, I want that thing to move, and I want it to go up. I want it to move up, not down. Because if it goes down, I associate loss with that and negativity. Maybe, for me, I really associate opportunity, but that's besides the point. The whole thing is, though, they feel better when markets go higher, and they get more scared when it goes against them. When you're scared, you panic sell and you close out your order, and it creates selling in the market. So as a buyer, when you buy, in order to get out of that buy position, you're going to have to sell it back to the market. Depending where you sell it back to the market, if you sold it at a worse price than what you bought it for, you're going to take a loss on that trade. If you sold it at a higher price than what you bought it for, you're going to make a win on the price differential. Price differential is just the difference in price. When price goes up in your favor, the price changed or became different in your favor. That's a price differential. We make money off the change in price. So you need to master market movement, meaning you need to understand what makes the market move. That brings us to market theory. Now I'm showing you the psychology of a buyer and the movements they're expecting and the emotions that are connected to those movements. That way you can understand the feeling. You get you tap into the psychology, the emotional sense of the condition of the marketplace. Did you guys know that I could sense the psychology in the market when I look at it? I know how people think because I'm a trader and I take advantage of that. I know that they see a W, they think they want to buy. I know how candlesticks work to bait them into reacting. I don't look at candlesticks. I look at blank spots. I look at where they're going. It's a huge difference between staring at a chart ticking and looking at where those tickings are going to take you to. Like, the spots I look at are completely immovable. They're completely stable. They don't change. They don't tick. They don't move. They're just spots. What happens is the data comes to those spots, and that's what ticks and moves and reacts. So I'm more so focused on the spot that it's going to, more than looking at the thing dance around. People who look at the thing dance around, they will react to everything it does. If it moves up, they want to buy. If it moves down, they want to sell. It could be back to back, just like that. I don't do that. Look, I don't look at this. This data, it was up here a second ago, and now it's down here. That'll drive me crazy. What'll keep me more sane is if I just look at what's being referenced. I'm just going to look at the highs and lows. See? Right now, it looks like it wants to reference the low.
How about if it's at the open?
of the day.
Yes.
What about it?
Would you reference that as well?
Well, it looks like it is referencing it right now, but what does the market need more than the just like a plain open price?
Inventory.
Inventory. So so relative to this open price, where's the inventory?
Low and
All
high.
right, there you go. So that's how you do that. So it's like relative to this open price, it's not just the open price. See, that's the thing. If you make tools like the thing, it's not. It's a open price is just a reference point. But see, if it was just the open price, you would have bought here and got messed up. So you want to just use it as a reference, not only the open, but the inventory. That's what puts you here. Not only that, but what it recently did. It filled buy stops. So it sold. So if the robot just sold, what does it got to do next?
Pick up inventory.
It has to buy it now. Where can it do that?
Below.
Yeah, down here somewhere. Yeah. So you see, it's just purely logical. It's like it can't just sell in any random place, and it can't just buy at any random place. And it can't do it at any random time. Like